There we are. Hey guys, how are we doing? Hope we're all doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. Big up to each and every single one of you that is in the building, in the chat, in wherever you are watching from around the world, and anything and everything in between. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We've got a lot of talking points to get through today. We've got a lot of talking points to get through on this Tuesday afternoon. We are going to be talking about Liverpool. Are they lucky, or is this just something that we're going to have to get used to going forward? We're going to be talking some Manchester United stuff. Ruben Amorim, is he on the verge of potentially being sacked from his position as head coach of Manchester United? We've got some Arsenal chat as well. Is this finally going to be Arsenal's year in winning the Premier League title? And we're going to be talking some Chelsea as well. Were they robbed at the weekend? And not only that, but have they actually improved from last season? If you want to talk some Tottenham as well, we can do. How good of a start they've had with Thomas Frank at the helm. You want to talk as well some Manchester City, the up and down start that City have had ahead of obviously their big game on Sunday this weekend when they take on Arsenal. We can do. And anything else that you guys want to talk about from the world of football as well. Remember, Champions League also does start tonight. So as well as that, get your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, about any of them talking points or any of your own talking points. Throw them into the chat as well. Would love to know who's here, who's not. And of course, what you guys have to say about each and every single thing that is going on in the world of football right this instant. Big up to Jay Kismet. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us. Peace to yourself, my bro. Big up to you, man. Hope you're all doing well. Like I say, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the chat as Jay and Ballum are doing right now. Big up to you, my bro, Ballum. Reality check. Yes, I should have offered that, to be fair. Reality check. It is going to be a kind of show that I want to kind of do every week. Basically, we take the talking points from the past weekends around the Premier League fixtures and we just bundle them all into one live stream and we just fly through them and go through the talking points. So, fair play for reminding me of what I'm trying to do with this show. But yes, that is going to be what we are trying to do here. So big up to you, Ballum. Nuno to West Ham sometime this season. Does this make sense? It's either going to be West Ham or Wolves. He could make a return to Wolves, could old Nuno. That could be a case, depending on who gets there first, I think. So we shall see, man. We shall see. But that could also be another talking point, an interesting one, as Ballum is thrown into the mix there. Why does our team Liverpool do this to fans? So many late goals. It's not for the faint-hearted supporting Liverpool. Let's put it that way. There are a number of health issues that you kind of have to check through. It was not the cleanest or best game that you'll ever see in your lifetime on Sunday, but Liverpool managed to pass by the skin of their teeth. Their skin of their teeth. Big up to you, bro. Hope you are doing well, and I hope that everything is going well for you, my friend. Nuno to West Ham is only a rumour I heard this week so far. Yeah, Graham Potter's position is becoming more and more weaker by the game week, it seems. And after that horrific 3-0 defeat at the hands of London rivals Tottenham, it seems it's only going to get worse. Reality check. Leeds have to win to Wolves this weekend. 100%. And they've got a good opportunity of doing that. Leeds have got a very good opportunity of doing that. We shall see, man. Will Wolves get their first point or even points, plural, of the season? Only time will tell. Reality check, Fletch is getting close to 1,000 by the end of the year. We are on 951 as of the middle of September. Yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate that. And appreciate each and every single one of you as well, of the 951 people that has decided to stick with this and stick through my ramblings and my tangents that I go down. I really do appreciate it. It's 951 more than I ever anticipated and expected. I'm enjoying the journey we're on right now. So if you feel like coming along with us, hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Right, let's get into the first talking point then, shall we? Let's get into the first talking point. And there's only one place to start because it's my show. We're going to start off with my club, Liverpool Football Club. We are starting off with the talk of Liverpool being lucky. Is this genuinely the case? Is this something that we're going to have to get used to? Or is this just a situation of early start to the season, Liverpool just getting out of first gear, managing to get the results, and it's scary for the league that they are managing to get results whilst not exactly playing very well, and that once it all finally clicks together, that's when the Premier League should be terrified. Look, I've seen a number of people online on various social media sites claim that Liverpool are lucky and fortunate, hence why this topic has sprung about on this particular stream. And to be fair, they're not necessarily wrong, but the vast majority of them that I'm seeing are rival fans. For some reason, there are Everton fans that only tweet about Liverpool that are doing this. There are Fulham fans, for whatever reason, that are only tweeting about Liverpool, which I found weird. But there are obviously certain Arsenal fans that are doing the same thing. I'm good. What about you? I'm good, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. Reality check, Salah, Mo Salah, you little dancer. My man Mo Salah is important. What a player Salah is doing well. I could not agree more on the fact that he comes in clutch when it matters most, but it's been a bit of a slow start of the season to Mo Salah, to be fair to him. Big up Reluctant Gamer, who's here. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us. Fly through message, the king is here. I'm trying to go faster, mate. I'm trying to go faster in terms of the messages. We'll get there one day. Where was I? So yes, there are certain fans out there that are claiming Liverpool are fortunate. And, you know, there is a little bit of luck to Liverpool's game. You know, 4 times in a row this season, 4 very late goals to win us games in tough matches. Each difficult, each awkward as the next one, and each somewhat different, but still very awkward. You know, Bournemouth 2-0 up to go back to 2-2 to win the game by 4 goals to 2 in the latter stages of the game. Newcastle 2-0 up, lose that 2-goal lead, win by 3 goals to 2 in the 90 plus 10th minute of the game. 4th game of the season, Burnley, tough side to break down. We weren't at the races for most of it. We managed to get a penalty, which definitely was a penalty. And Rivals fans' blood's boiling with that because, again, it fits the Liverpool narrative, which, if you've been watching this season, has not been the case. Like, okay, there may be 1 or 2 things that you could maybe go, oh, Liverpool got a little bit lucky there. Liverpool got a bit fortunate from a referee's call. But the handball from Bournemouth on the opening day of the season wasn't given as a red card. The foul, the first foul on Alexis McAllister in the first half of that Burnley game, I know he eventually got sent off, the player who committed that foul, but the first foul should have definitely been a sending off, and it wasn't. So again, we were outdone by a referee there, but again, doesn't fit the Liverpool narrative, does it? But yet a Stonewall penalty, 2 red cards that were definite red cards, and all of a sudden It's Liverpool are lucky, Liverpool are this, Liverpool are that, PGMOL league all over again. We can't compete. 400 and whatever million spent in the summer and still got the VAR and media on their side. All of these narratives are all being brought together to try and bring Liverpool down. Look, the late wins, they're not sustainable. It is extremely, extremely unlikely that Liverpool are going to go the next 34 games of this season by just winning very late on. Very, 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 very unlikely that is going to happen. However, in saying all of that, I believe we can only get better. I believe we can only get better by just gelling these players in. We have had a lot of obviously changeover in the summer. They're going to take a little bit of time to bed in, to play together. We've got 2 new fullbacks. We've obviously got a new attacking midfielder. We've got 2 new strikers to bed in. You know, the main spine is still there. The goalkeeper, the 2 centre-backs, 2 central midfielders, the 2 wingers in Gakpo and Salah, of course. But the elements of the team that were, or the elements other than Salah that were essential, the other parts of the team, all changed. And they all obviously need to gel together and work together, and that is only going to come with time. And I believe that Liverpool are only going to get stronger from here. And the worry for the Premier League should be that if Liverpool are winning games whilst playing bad, imagine what it's going to be like when it all clicks together, because it's been a bit disjointed. You know, first 2 games of the season, you can maybe say that our attack was on fire, scoring 4 goals against Newcastle, 3 goals against, 4 goals against Brentford. I will get there eventually. I will go through all 20 teams before I get there. 4 goals against Bournemouth, 3 goals against Newcastle. Attack was on point. Defense was not. That's why we lost two goal leads in 2 games. Then Arsenal happens. Burnley happens. Defense on point, solid. Can't argue any way, shape, or form about the defense in either of those 2 games. But what happens? Our defense flops. Our defense flops. Our attack flops, then our defense flops. If we can just combine the 2 on good days, once it all starts clicking, once Florian Wirtz finds his feet, especially, once, you know, Frimpong is back from now his injury and hopefully he can play a bit more, you know, once Kirkes finds his feet as well, you know, I just have a good feeling that it's going to work out. Going to work out. It's going to work out. I'm sure it will. But the narrative from rival fans and even some sections of the media that are just like, oh, it's unsustainable. It's this, it's that, it's the other. I'm just saying, man, it's just tiring. It's just tiring. And especially from the Arsenal fans as well, who may need reminding. We went through this last season with you. Last season, you were doing the same thing. You were doing this whole, Liverpool, it's unsustainable. They're going to fall away. They're going to flop. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And this season, we might. But we went through this whole thing last season. Next, they're going to be pulling out spreadsheets of fixtures of both Arsenal and Liverpool and trying to predict them by going, Liverpool will drop points here, here, and here, and Arsenal will be perfect throughout the remainder of the season. Just saying, that's probably what's going to happen. Who's Liverpool playing and when? We've got Everton, Merseyside derby on Saturday, but before then, we have Champions League action in which we'll be taking on Atletico Madrid tomorrow night. I can't wait. Champions League is back, and we're probably going to be seeing Isak in a Liverpool shirt for the first time as well. So I cannot wait. They just put Isak on during the next game. I think we will. I think he'll make a substitute appearance in the game against Atletico. I think we give Ekitike a bit of a rest as well in the meantime. And then on Saturday, I reckon we probably give him a bit more time in the Merseyside derby as well. Imagine that. First Premier League appearance, Merseyside derby, and he becomes an instant hero by scoring the winning goal. Absolute quality story. In, by the way, once again, the 96th, 97th, 98th, 99th minute. Let's see if we can go for all the 90s, right the way across the board in terms of winning goals. So we've got 90 plus 10. We just need like 90 plus 1 or 2 or 3. I think we got 9 plus 4 in the Bournemouth game. I think that was that one, but that'd be great if it was. But yeah, I'd be shocked if we don't see Isak at some point this week. A little disappointed we didn't get to see him against Burnley, but at the same time, I can understand why when there's going to be so many games that are coming up. I think the first game he starts might actually be the Carabao Cup, you know. I think the next game he starts might actually be the Carabao Cup. I think he might come off the bench for Atletico. I think he comes off the bench for Everton, and I think he probably starts against Southampton in the Carabao. That was my prediction anyway. I could be wrong. He might start on Saturday for all I know. Might start on Saturday. Big up to you, Ballum. See you later, my dude. Always good to have you here, even if it is for a short time. I really do appreciate you stopping by, my friends. So I hope you're doing well. 3 goals against 10 men. I mean, technically, yes. 2 against Newcastle and 1 against Burnley. But I think when a team goes down to 10 men, unless you're an Ange Postecoglou team that goes down to 10 men or 9 men, I think it's harder to score against 10 men, especially when you're against Burnley, who were throwing 11 men behind the ball anyway. And then they just decided to throw 10 men behind the ball. And, yeah, I think it's kind of difficult to do that. So we did well. Like I say, our attack in the first 2 games, can't fault it. Defense, terrible. Moving forward to the last 2 games that we just played, attack has been a bit shaky, not great. Decision making, the final pass not executed properly. But then our defense has been solid. So at the moment, it's a bit disjointed and it's a bit uneven. But I guarantee we will get there. Guarantee we will. You prefer watching Champions League or Premier League? As a spectacle as a whole, I'd probably go Champions League because I prefer watching those games, all of them, more than watching the Premier League. Like, for example, this year, I'm hardly going to be watching Leeds versus Burnley. If Sky throw that on, I am, personally, for me, not interested. Like, if there's another game on in another league, of course, that will take priority. But I'm hardly going to watch it. So, yeah. So, yeah, I prefer Champions League because at least that way I can guarantee there's going to be some good games. Sometimes in the Premier League, there's not always good games on. With all due respect to both Burnley and Leeds, we're just using that example. It's not for me. And, you know, I'll catch the highlights if I have to. But it's not something I'm going to go up my way to watch. Whereas Champions League, all over that. I try and be as all over that as I can. I got my Real Madrid 24-25 home shirt on right now. They're playing today. Like I say, man, Champions League, Champions League, bro. Although that's like the one shirt I would never, I wouldn't want to wear. That's a Real Madrid shirt is the one shirt I probably would not want to wear. Always preferred Barcelona for one. And B, I don't necessarily care for Real Madrid. I don't necessarily care for Real Madrid. So, there we go. Do you have guests on? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I've had Jordan on in the past, and I've had Royal Red on as well a couple of times. Something I've got to do more. It's definitely something I've got to do more. I mean, I like this kind of interacting with you guys in the chat, that kind of thing, and you don't necessarily get to do that all the time if you have a guest. But yeah, it's definitely something I've got to look into doing more of. It's just finding the time to do it where, you know, either another person or more than one person's free to do it at the same time I am. Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult, but yeah, it's definitely something I've got to look into more. A Liverpool fan cannot wear Madrid shirts. Exactly. I can wear any other shirt other than fellow English teams or a Real Madrid shirt. They are the lines that I draw. I won't be wearing any shirt that is Premier League or Real Madrid. That's where I draw the line. So, yeah. Like I say, that is it. That is it, man. Is it? I prefer when you don't have guests on. Some people may have their preferences. Like I say, I want to try and mix it up. I want to try and like I say, progress the channel going forward. And one of the ways to do that will be to get guests on, whether they are fellow Liverpool fans or whether they are fans of rivals or other fans like yourself, like Newcastle fans, or, you know, maybe even there will be Leeds and Burnley fans, you know, whoever, like, as long as they're mainly Premier League based, unless of course I decide to do shows on Champions League and maybe other leagues, maybe out there. That is definitely something, like I say, I'm gonna look into doing a bit more, maybe trying to make some connections elsewhere. So yeah, we shall see. But again, I don't want it to all be all the time guests, because then maybe you guys may feel that you maybe miss out in the chat, that kind of thing, because maybe you don't quite get the same level of attention you do when it's just me to a camera. But at the same time, like I say, I'll try and include you guys as much as possible, even with or without guests. So yeah, appreciate you all being here. Check out the shows I'm on. Liverpool's 12th Man and Anfield Irishman, top lads. I will do. I will check them out after the show. I don't necessarily think or am I? Let's double check this. Where are we at? Liverpool's 12th Man. Because otherwise, no. But otherwise, I will forget if I if I don't make a note. I will likely forget, because my brain does not compute things very well, or does not store things very well, I should say. Cool. I will definitely check them out once this stream is over and done with. But yeah, I prefer any YouTube show without guests. Fair enough, man. Like I say, fair enough. Like I say, some people are different. Some people do those kind of things where they prefer the kind of intimate interaction you get with like a one-on-one. And some just prefer it where it's, you know, like a big collective. But either way, like I say, I'm going to try and expand in that sense. You could join us anytime. I appreciate that, bro. I definitely, like I say, if I can get if we can get the time and we can obviously find time together, I definitely love that. And like I say, you're welcome on here at any time as well, my friend. So yeah, if you ever want to come on, just let me know and we'll sort something out. And would love to have you on the show at some point. Liverpool should not be wearing Bar's kits or anyone else, anyone elite team like Bayern or PSG. I understand. I can understand from like a Champions League rival kind of perspective. I just have too much respect for. I mean, not so much respect for like PSG or Bayern because they're like, yeah, we've had our history and we've had battles in the past and that kind of thing. I just have too much love and respect for Barcelona, man. Like, too much love and respect for Barcelona. Like, the players that they've had in the past, the kits are always quality. I just have too much respect for Barcelona. I just like Barcelona too much. So, yeah, I don't care. If I do get a Barcelona shirt ever, I will be wearing it and I'll be fine with it. I'd love a classic one. I love a classic one with Ronaldinho on the back. I'd love a classic one with Ronaldinho and I'd love a Messi one. So there you have it. Those are on my kind of football kit wish list. I definitely need to get a wish list sorted. I've only got one in my head. I need to write it all down. I need to get a football kit wish list. What new Liverpool shirts you got? I've only got the red one so far. I'm debating getting the green one though. I am very much debating getting the green one. It looked very good on Sunday. It looked very good in action on Sunday. So I'm debating it. I'm debating getting the third kit. We shall see, though. We shall see. So, man, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Lovely to have you here. And like I say, you're welcome on the show at any time that you like. Anytime that you're free. What's your prediction? Newcastle versus Barcelona. Obviously, you're going to pick Barcelona. What do you think the score is going to be? I may not pick Barcelona. I may surprise you. I don't know, man. It's going to be a great game. I mean, obviously, having said all of what you just said and what I just said, obviously, I think Barcelona are the favourites. However, opening night, Champions League, opening game, Thursday, at St. James's Park. I just saw the comment. Jay, yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, man. Like, also, is Lamine Yamal not playing in that game? I don't think Yamal was playing, is he? I like how we're all on the same page with that. I like how we're all on the same page with 2-2. I don't think Yamal's playing. I think I remember reading somewhere that he didn't, or he might be a doubt for the game. I don't know if he will be. I think he missed training yesterday, I believe. That could be wrong. That could be just some random BS rumor, but that's what I heard anyway. So I'm not sure if Yamal will be playing. Plus, like I say, St. James's Park, Champions League, Barcelona, they might not start the campaign off strong, but they might get stronger as the campaign goes on. So I've got a feeling you could take something from that game. You know, I've got a good feeling that Newcastle will be in a good position to take something from that game. So fair play and good luck to you, my friends. Barca kits, not all that. Real Madrid kits, much nicer. I got both teams. Madrid had legends, R9 and Zidane, and a lot more. Yeah, they've had some great legends too. I've just always been drawn more towards Barcelona than I have Madrid. And yeah, Madrid's kits, the white kit is just a classic. The white kit, the all white strip is just a classic. It's iconic. It's something that even non-football fans probably would recognize right off the bat. So I get it. I just, like I said, I've always just been drawn to Barcelona, just right the way from even before Pep, through Pep, to where they are now. The players, the legends, past and present. I've just been drawn towards Barcelona more than I ever have with Real Madrid. All Liverpool kits look decent. They do, to be fair. I'm not massively keen on the white one. Not massively keen on the white kit. Like it looks great and everything, but like I say, if I had to rank them, it's probably red, green, white. 2-2 draw, I reckon. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, my dude. I'm thinking the exact same thing. Yamal not playing, but they look just as good, if not better. They won 6-0 against Valencia yesterday. I want Yamal playing, but no, he's not going to be playing. Yeah, it's a shame that. It's a shame. Some depends what kind of or how fans see things like that. Some will see, one of their best players is not playing. That's a great sign for us. I'd much rather have their best players playing against us, because then it really tests how good our players are. If I was a Newcastle fan, I'd really be wanting Yamal to be playing like you, just so that he could be put up against the likes of Dan Burn, for example. What a battle that would be, Dan Burn against Lamine Yamal. And would be quality. Love that. I love Madrid and Barca. You're definitely not going to like Madrid after Trent. Even before Trent, I wasn't a massive fan. It had nothing to do either with us losing a couple of Champions League finals to them either. I've admired them. I admire the way they've gone about the way they go about their business. I admire their ruthlessness from time to time. But at the same time, in saying all of that, like I said, I've always been more drawn to Barcelona and the somewhat underdog in Atletico as well. I see the appeal of Real Madrid. I have a ton of respect for everything that they've achieved in their history, but for me, it's more so Barca, Atletico than them. And I only like Atletico because underdog story, the underdog of the three. And when they do go on and win it, it's very, very good for the Spanish league. All Newcastle kits look decent. Yeah, they do. They do, to be fair. Did you see Nick Voltemader's goal? Good player. Very good goal. Obviously, very good debut. I don't know. I need to see more. I need to see more from him. You can definitely see how useful he's going to be to Newcastle. But it's just going to be about, when he comes up against the bigger teams, with all due respect, Wolves, not that great. Not that great. And probably are in very, very deep danger of potentially going down this year. We shall see, obviously, how they go. But, yeah. I want Yamal to play because it's history having a GOAT playing at St. James's Park. It's sort of like saying I want Messi injured so he doesn't score at St. James's Park with no chance. I want goals. I want GOATs to see the Newcastle Stadium. Yeah, I get that. I get that completely. I wasn't when we played Barcelona back in 2019. I was like, I just want Messi to play. I want these players to play. I just want the best to play because, like you said, Champions League nights are special, regardless of what club you are. What makes it even more special, you see the best of the best play. What makes it even more special, if your players can go toe-to-toe with them and beat them. Makes it all special, don't it? It makes it all special. So that's why the Champions League is such a spectacle, and which is why we all love it. I like both Madrid and Barca. I prefer Barcelona with Messi and Yamal. Yeah, for me, it's Messi. There's Yamal currently. There's Ronaldinho. Loved Iniesta when he was playing. Xavi was a baller. Busquets is so criminal. I think Busquets. I know, obviously, like Messi takes the headlines and all these other players that are more flashier on the eye and stuff. But Busquets, for me, so criminally underrated in that team. Even some of the defenders, Carlos Puyol that they've had, Gerard Piqué, Jordi Alba, Dani Alves was quality as a footballer, of course. They've even had the likes of Yaya Toure in the past. I mean, for the most part, it's chalk and cheese compared to today, but there's still got some quality players even today. I mean, Pedri, I can't honestly speak highly enough of Pedri. He is ridiculous, man. Pedri is absolutely ridiculous. Big up Jordan Hyman's in the building. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Guys, go and subscribe to Jordan's channel if you haven't already. The guy is doing some madness over there on his channel. Sure, there's something for everybody over there, so go over there and show him some love and show him some support. He is quality. You got an Apple Watch. I do not, I'm afraid. I do not. Between you two, Messi and Anfield is special if 1 second. If Messi wasn't on that game, that win wouldn't have felt as big as it did with Messi. Scored a quality free kick against us as well. First leg, Camp Nou, 3-0 Barcelona. Scored an absolute quality free kick. He was really, really on that day. I'm just so glad that on the second leg, we were better. But yeah, like I say, it does make it all more special when you add all of those things in. Yeah, I love Ronaldinho. He's my favorite of all time. My top 3 ever: Messi, Ronaldinho, and CO7. What's your top 3? Just players, just any player. Top 3, any players of all time. Messi's the GOAT. Messi's the freaking GOAT, in my opinion. So Messi is top. Obviously, I've got to go with Gerrard because, Steven Gerrard is my hero, man. He's my hero. And I genuinely do think he was the most complete midfielder I've seen. Like, him, Gerrard, and I got to go with Henry. But Ronaldinho, Zidane, as you mentioned, shout out and mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo as well. All quality players, as you mentioned there. Iniesta, quality. Toni Kroos, quality. So many good players, even defensively. Like, the defensive players don't necessarily get a mention either. But players like Puyol, players, don't really like him, but Sergio Ramos a little bit. Maldini, there's Zambrotta, there's Andrea Pirlo, there's so many good players that don't necessarily get because they don't score enough or they don't assist enough or whatever the case may be. But there's so many. Like Serie A back in the day, Kaká as well. Let's not forget Kaká as well. Absolute ballers, man. Absolute ballers. I think Zidane third also. Yeah, like I say, quality player, man. Mine is Messi, Gerrard, Henry. Yeah, and you know what? Like I say, Gerrard for me is slightly in there because obviously childhood hero, all of that kind of stuff. Played for Liverpool, my club. So there's a little bit of bias there, but I genuinely, it's my list, it's my preference, my favorites. So yeah, I'm going with that. Maradona, Messi, and R9 in that order. Maradona was a bit before my time, so I can't. I feel a bit awkward if I did throw Maradona in there. It'd be like me throwing Pele in there or something like that. So I don't really throw Maradona in there. I base it more on my lifetime and who I saw most. Don't really go off like highlight reels and things of that nature. R9. I would have loved to have seen R9 without injuries. If R9 didn't have as many injuries as he had, that guy was already explosive, but he could have reached all new levels had he not been injured and got those injury issues that he did. That guy was unreal. He was immense. Luis Figo, Raul. Oh, so many. Even from a rival's perspective, I've got to kind of mention a bit of Wayne Rooney in there as well, and pay a bit of respect to him. Luka Modric, so many good players. I could do this throughout. We should do a stream one day in which we just rattle off random names. Doesn't matter whether they're good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Just rattle off some random names. Let's just go for it one day. Absolutely love it. Messi, one Messi. Second, Ronaldinho. Third, CR7, Zidane. My final, Henry, fourth. I like that list. I like that list, to be honest. I really, really do like that list. Gerrard was good. Can't argue. I remember that 3-3 against AC Milan. So many good games, man, of Gerrard. 3-3 AC Milan. 3-3 a year later in the FA Cup final between Liverpool and West Ham. He dragged us through that one. There's the hat-trick he got against Everton. So many great games. So many great goals. Yeah, like you say, and people like to kind of downplay this whole thing of, Liverpool had some good teams throughout his time. Liverpool fans say they didn't, but they did. And I would only say, we only had a good all-round team for about 2-3 years during his time there. Most of the time, it was so imbalanced. It was so awkward and so unproven that Gerrard had to carry us for the majority of it. It was only until we started getting better players around him that, the heat was kind of taken off Gerrard, but he still managed to stand out. And I still maintain to this day, if Gerrard had gone Chelsea, Chelsea would have won what they had won and more. If Gerrard had gone to Man United would have won what they have won already and potentially more. I don't think you can say the same about the way that Liverpool won things if you throw a Scholes in there or if you throw a Lampard in there, which is why, in my personal opinion, Gerrard is better than Lampard and Scholes. Now, as a Premier League legend, you kind of have to win the Premier League to get there, in my opinion. So I think it sort of, as much as it pains me, I want it to be Gerrard so bad. But I kind of slightly concede that slight fact. And that's not to say that you need a Premier League title just to be good, by the way. There are a number of people with Premier League titles that are just nowhere near Gerrard's league. Danny Drinkwater, for example, has a Premier League title winner's medal. Anderson of Man United, I'm sure he has a couple. So, yeah, Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have won the Premier League to be better than someone. I mean, let's face it, Ryan Brewster's got a Champions League winners medal. You're making him better than Zlatan or R9? Like, what are we doing here? I met an 80-year-old. He loves football. He says Messi is above Maradona, so I take his word. Fair enough. Fair enough. Like I said, I would have loved to have seen Maradona like properly live each and every single week. Because the highlight reel looks stunning. The highlight reel looks absolutely stunning. So if you saw him each and every single week, it probably would have been on a whole new level. Whole new level. R9 is too good. I'd say he's actually above Henry without a doubt. Like I said, I would have just loved to have seen him without the injuries he picked up. I think the injuries he's picked up have sort of hindered him somewhat. And it kind of obviously put a bit of a dampener, shall we say, on his career overall. But he still had a phenomenal career. He still had a phenomenal career, phenomenal player, phenomenal striker, phenomenal goal scorer. The guy was phenomenal, as his nickname suggests. I think I like Gerrard and Lampard a bit. Yeah. Respect to Lampard as well. Respect to Lampard. Like, to do what he did, respect. But Gerrard's better. Gerrard's just the better overall player than Lampard, in my opinion. Just better all round. Just better all round. And Gerrard could adapt as well. Gerrard could play anywhere and everywhere. I mean, that Champions League final that you mentioned earlier, he finished at right back. He finished the game at right back. But he could play anywhere. He played right mid, right wing. I think he even played up front for one game, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but it probably did happen. Played as a centre attacking midfielder. Played as obviously the central midfielder. Played on the left wing. And obviously, as his career went on and on and on, he kind of dropped a little deeper and played a bit more defensive midfielder for us. So he adapted. I don't think Lampard ever really adapted. I think Lampard was excellent at what he did. Great passer of the ball, great mover, and arrived at the box late for that kind of pullback, and he fired it into the bottom corner or fired it into the back of the net in some way, shape, or form. Lampard was excellent at box crushing very, very late. But I wouldn't say Lampard was good at adapting as what Gerrard was. I wouldn't say Gerrard was the complete overall midfielder that Gerrard was. Gerrard was that guy. Gerrard was the all-round complete midfielder, the sort of Swiss Army knife of that midfield. Lampard, not so much. And you can tell that by the way that a lot of money from Chelsea went into buying the likes of Ramirez, John Obi Mikel, obviously Claude Makelele was there, Michael Ballack came in. A lot of defensive midfielders were put to complement Lampard. And that's not a dig on Lampard. I'm not trying to dig Lampard out or anything. It's just the way that, Lampard played, and it's the way that Gerrard played. Never quite worked for England, and I think a large part of that was down to the management rather than them two together. I feel like if they had something to kind of balance them out a little bit more, maybe, for example, a Michael Carrick, it could have worked. But Michael Carrick was not as big a name as the likes of Gerrard and Lampard and Scholes. So the likes of Sven-Goran Eriksson tried to obviously just mash them all into one. And then Steve McLaren came along and flopped. And then everybody else after that just flopped with them. It was too late. it was too late to kind of salvage the Gerrard and Lampard partnership. Lampard was with a better team at the time, so wasn't looked at as the main man. Gerrard was the main man with a weaker team. Lampard still managed to stand out, though. Lampard still managed to stand out in that team, even though you had the likes of Didier Drogba in there, and obviously John Terry, and maybe one or two other players here and there, and in those Chelsea ranks. Lampard still stood out. But like I say, the team was obviously, like you say, a lot more balanced than what that Liverpool team was, at least on a consistent level. Every now and again, Liverpool would find a very good balanced team, and it would normally have to be like, you go back to the likes of Pepe Reina in his prime, Jamie Carragher partnering Sami Hyypiä or Daniel Agger or Martin Skrtel or whoever with, John Arisa or whoever it was occupying the fullback kind of positions. And then obviously the midfield would be Gerrard with a Xabi Alonso and a Mascherano. And then for whatever reason, we were trying to get rid of Xabi Alonso, which made no sense. No sense whatsoever. Let's get one of the best midfielders and try and move him on a bit. And who did we try and get him to replace? Gareth Barry. No knock on Gareth Barry. Decent player. But I'd take Xabi Alonso over him any day. Then we didn't even get Gareth Barry. We got Alberto Aquilani instead. Who? Exactly. We were so poorly ran. It was unbelievable. It's like, no wonder we were almost on the verge of bankruptcy and don't even want to think about it. But yeah, I would still say Gerrard is a bit better than Lampard, but not by much. No, I'm not saying that Gerrard is a million miles clear of Lampard either. I'm just saying that for me, if you want a complete all-round midfielder who can do it all, Gerrard is that guy. And especially in clutch moments, big moments, Gerrard is the guy. I think Gerrard is still the only player to have scored in every major final he's ever played in. I think he scored in Europa, or what it was then called the UEFA Cup, Champions League final, FA Cup final, League Cup final. I think he has scored in every major club final that there is. I think he's the only player to do that. I think that record still stands. I'm pretty sure that record still stands. Chelsea had a better team. Liverpool was just a top four team. Chelsea were title challengers. Chelsea were title challengers on a more consistent basis, yes. Liverpool had 1 or 2 years here and there where they would be, but ultimately they never had the kind of financial stability or the scouting awareness and knowledge to maintain that position. They never had that. During those years, which made it difficult for Liverpool to consistently challenge for the title. Every now and again we would, but it was difficult. If I had to pick Lampard or Gerrard for Newcastle, I'd definitely pick Gerrard all day, every day. So we talked about Liverpool. We've gone off on some random tangents and some other things, which I absolutely love. Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. Let's go there, shall we? Let's go to Manchester for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim. Should he be sacked? Should United continue with him? That is the kind of question on everybody's lips right now. The question I have is, does it matter? Does it actually matter what happens anymore with United? Look, I was a big fan of Amorim when he was at Sporting. When obviously the news came out about Jurgen Klopp leaving, I didn't really religiously follow Portuguese football, but I started to do a bit of research into who this Amorim guy was, and I liked the look of him. I liked his style of play. I liked how he carried himself. I liked what he'd done with Sporting. It looked positive from the outside looking in. And then, obviously, we went with Arne Slot. And months later, Erik ten Hag was sacked. And Amorim was brought in at Old Trafford Man United. A move that I wasn't exactly happy about because I did rate United. I did rate Amorim. Him going to United kind of made me think, okay, that's a serious move by United. A serious move by United. And that is probably going to be a catalyst for change. That's probably going to be the beginning of United's sort of revival. It may take a few years, but you will see them progress. You will see them advance. And he might be the guy to take them back to United being in a position where they can challenge again. Maybe not necessarily win, but definitely challenge. And it hasn't quite worked out that way. And I'm wondering why that is the case. And as much as I want to say that this is a case of like, again, as I've kind of maintained this, I've maintained this belief for a while that the leaving of the club to rot for so long was always going to be a long and troublesome journey to reach the pinnacle again. Wasn't going to be an overnight success. Amorim wasn't going to come in with a magic wand and instantly change everything at the club. It was always going to be a long, drawn-out plan that would take years and years to execute and to perfect and to do properly. And yet, he's creating more problems for himself than he needs to. There's already a ton of problems there at United without him adding to them. And that's what makes me think that his stubbornness should get him the sack. I said the same thing with Ange Postecoglou when he was at Tottenham. I said the same thing, or I am saying the same thing currently with Mikel Arteta. I said it about someone else as well, but off the top of my head, I can't remember who I've said it about. Who did I say it about? I don't remember. Anyway, the point of the matter is that his stubbornness is going to get him the sack. And probably rightfully so. Even though I personally think they should, and this is not me trying to banter United in any way, shape or form, even though I'd love to. Even though I think that, you know, the point of this whole process is to finally just go with someone as far as you can before you have to change it. He probably should go because he's, like I say, he is not. He's not. He's just not. He's not working out for himself. Like I say, he's creating more problems than he needs to, and the current problems are square pegs, round holes. Amad Diallo is not a right wing back. Stop playing him at wing back. He's also not a number 10. Stop playing him as a number 10. Bruno Fernandes is not a central midfielder. He is a number 10. You are taking one of the most consistent and creative players in that United team and moving him deeper where his lack of awareness, because he hasn't had to have that lack of that need for awareness of tracking midfield runners and things like that to go up and down the pitch for 90 minutes, is becoming a problem. The midfield gets overrun. Runners from midfield are scoring goals. Phil Foden scored that goal on Sunday because Bruno Fernandes was not tracking his man. He's not that guy. Bear with me one second. And I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had to take a important phone call. Where were we? United. Yeah. So I just think that he's creating more problems than he needs. That's the biggest problem for me about Amorim. He's creating more problems than he needs. It's nothing to do with his style of play. The style of play is something that United fans have been crying out for a long, long time. He's finally trying to implement one. But the problem is that the players, they don't fit. They just don't seem to fit. You still are playing Bayendir. Whoever told Bayendir he's a goalkeeper, that is the cruelest joke of all time. That is genuinely the cruelest joke anybody has ever played on another human being. He is clearly not a goalkeeper. The guy can't catch a cold. The guy is awful. He's just absolutely awful. The defense is okay, but doesn't get any help from the midfield. The midfield is being ran through at will. And the attack, there's nothing wrong with creating chances for the attack. It's just taking them. That's not necessarily on Amorim, in my opinion. Like, for me, the coach can only do so much. It's about the players and the decision-making on the pitch. And the decision-making on the pitch is leading them to create chances, but ultimately not take those chances. Amorim can only do so much. He can only do so much when it comes to that kind of aspect. It's like I say, it's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess at United right now. It's fun. It's funny. Man United are doing bad. It absolutely is, mate. I could not agree more. Big up Jordan. Yes, guys, smash the like and subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Like, subscribe, comment, notification bell, all of that good stuff. Really do appreciate that from you as well, Reluctant Gamer. Big up to you, my friend. Thank you for trying to push all of that. I really do appreciate it from you guys. Big up Niche Fan is in the building. Are you doing well, my bro? You know I love your hair, but don't like you. I love your hair, but I don't like your club. Okay. There's a strange sort of interlink there. I'm here to say that as a United fan, I'm Amorim out. We don't have the players to implement this philosophy either. They can't or won't play the system. Here's the situation with that, though, right? It's okay saying that. It's okay saying that, right? But what about the players then that you have bought right now? Because what you do is that you go to a new manager, right? And then a new manager, what? Maybe he plays 4-2-3-1. Maybe he plays 4-4-3-3. What about then the players that you've bought this summer? What about the player that you bought in January in Dorgu? What happens then? Can they be trusted to play in a new system, new philosophy, new style, new formation? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure they can. Some might be able to adapt. You know, and Buemo was more of a winger, like he somewhat was at Brentford. Cunha more so on the left than in the number 10. It'll be good for Bruno Fernandes because he gets to push up more and be more advanced. I don't see the point in you starting again, ripping it all out, starting again, because you did that with Moyes, you did that with Van Gaal, you did that with Mourinho, you did that with Ten Hag, you've done that with Solskjaer. Every manager has come in and just built this Frankenstein squad over the past decade in which there are still players there. Luke Shaw should not be playing for Man United in 2025. He just shouldn't. He just should not be playing there in 2025. I just find it ridiculous. I'm just even from the outside looking in, even as a rival fan, I find it ridiculous. And I really want to laugh. I want to point and I want to laugh and I want to take the mick. But if I am to obviously do this, then I've got to kind of keep that stuff to a minimum and try and be as fair and as honest as I can. I'm just seeing Amorim creating more problems than it needs to. I'm seeing a club in which they know the destination, but they don't know how to get there. I'm seeing players that are once again seemingly downing tools. I'm seeing reports about players not happy with the manager's coaching or the manager's tactics or anything along those lines. I'm seeing a complete chaotic disarray of a football club right now. And I just don't think that throwing another spanner in the works of getting Amorim out and bringing in a new manager is necessarily going to help that, because the journey towards where you want to be gets longer because the players from previous years, they devalue as they have done time and time again. And you're basically just making it so that, oh, new manager comes in. We're having to push back again our plan of reaching the pinnacle of English football and, you know, getting back into the Champions League and winning the Champions League, or at least attempting to win the Champions League again another year or two. Again, we're pushing it back. Again, we're pushing it back. And the manager durations are actually getting shorter and shorter as well. So it's not looking good. It's really, really not looking good at United right now. I, for one, am happy about that. But at the same time, like I say, I'm trying to be fair and I'm trying to be as honest as I can. It's a complete mess. And like I say, just tearing it all down now, especially after putting in a lot of work in the summer, especially after, enticing Amorim to drop Sporting and jump ship to United, even though he didn't necessarily want to. It just seems a massive, massive mess at United right now. We haven't really bought anyone. We needed 8 players, not 4. But you spent big on those players. You spent big on those players and you don't even have Champions League football. That's the point. You went for... So you may not have got the quantity that you needed, but, you sort of got the quality. And even then, your priorities were somewhat all over the place because you didn't get the goalkeeper until the final day of the transfer window. For me, the goalkeeper would have been your number one signing. I know, obviously, Cunha, a signing of convenience because of the release clause, and Buemo chose you and only you, so I understand that aspect as well. But at the same time, to say that you had Onana and Bayende still there, it was almost like your club went, we need to focus on the attack. What about the goalkeeper? What's a goalkeeper? What is a goalkeeper? Oh, that's a goalkeeper right there. The one that just let in a bunch of goals as he did last season. And the second choice goalkeeper is he's not as much of an improvement as we thought he would be. The fact that you went an entire summer ignoring the goalkeeper was mind-boggling to me. It was mind-boggling to me right up until the final few days of the transfer window. And even then, we still didn't get to see him in the Manchester derby. I thought we would have done. Welcome back, Ballum. How you doing? Well, reality check. Fletch, what did you make of Chelsea getting charged for things happening under the previous owner? News to me came out of the blue. Very unexpected. I see what you did there, out of the blue. The Chelsea thing's interesting because I'm not 100% sure of what the Premier League or the FA can do about charging them, because this happened under the Roman Abramovich era. Since then, there has been a ton of changes. There's been a ton of other things obviously take place. And do you really just punish the club for what their previous owners did? I'm not 100% sure you can. I think you can maybe give them a fine. I'm not really sure what you can do. Maybe you give them a transfer ban for a year or something. I'm not 100% sure what you can do. Just makes me wonder why the Premier League didn't catch on to this sooner rather than later. Chelsea also did snitch on themselves, of course, so that's another aspect to throw into this case. I don't know what they can do. If this was the same ownership, same thing, same everything, 100% Chelsea should get punished. I'm just not 100% sure what the FA can do when it's 2 different ownerships, one grassing on the other, the current one grassing on the other. It just seems strange to me. We shouldn't have bought Sesko. Cunha is a better number 9. You could have just stuck with Højlund, to be fair. I know that might not exactly go down too well, and obviously you got Xerxes as well. And that comment may sound a bit stupid, but at least you would have had Premier League proven Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo supporting him in not just creativity, but also goal scoring. If you'd have kept Højlund, you could have put that Sesko money to better use, i.e., getting a goalkeeper that you desperately needed, or putting the... How much did you buy Sesko for? Was it 70, 75 million? Something along them lines? Let me just double check this. About 70 odd million. Just under 70 odd million. Maybe something like 65 to 70 odd million. You could have put that money towards getting Belieber. Now, of course, it wouldn't have covered the entire fee of Carlos Belieber at Brighton, but it could have been like a big installment, and then obviously installments for down the line that you could have paid for. That would have benefited your midfield to no end. I think that would have been a higher priority than getting a striker like Benjamin Sesko, who I don't really rate, by the way. I think he might have been decent for your lot, and I still think he could be decent for your lot. But as far as what I was talking about a lot of him in the summer is he's not a needle mover for Liverpool. He's not a needle mover for Arsenal. Therefore, someone like Man United might be his kind of level. Someone to try and help them get back to where they want to be. But at the same time, was he a priority? No. So for all the United fans that were really happy that they got Sesko just to kind of stop Liverpool because, you know, the domino effect of Sesko going to Newcastle then selling Isak early, backfired on them. Backfired. Big up Ozana's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. I hope you're doing well. Bruno should be a 10. He's being vocal about his deeper role not suiting him. You don't even have to be a footballing expert to see that the deeper role does not suit Bruno Fernandes. It's painfully obvious and there for everybody to see. Two things make a successful club: happy players and hardworking players. As a manager, you have to ask each player where they want to play to make them happy. You then deem they work hard. I mean, quality as well goes a long way. I know hard work does, but hard work sometimes can only get you so far. Sometimes you do need to rely on a bit of individual quality. So there is that as well. But there's something deeply rooted to the core. Like, happy players and hardworking players will make a good squad. But what makes a successful club? It's the infrastructure. It's what happens and what goes on behind the scenes. Like, as great as what Liverpool's title win was last year, it's not possible without Arne Slot being the brains behind the operation. It's not the same without Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards doing all the stuff behind the scenes to put Liverpool in a position where they could have gone out this summer and splashed the cash as they have done. It goes beyond the squad. Like, the squad obviously is important, but there's the recruitment side of things. There's the scouting. There is obviously working off the pitch as well as on the pitch. Your scouting hasn't been that great. You used to celebrate getting players like Robin van Persie and Wayne Rooney. Who are you celebrating these days? Benjamin Sesko. Ugh, what a downgrade. What an absolute downgrade. They can't argue with you when you give them the position and the system they want. You have to be diplomatic on the system, but generally 4-3-3 is what most players want. It is, which is why most teams play it. So if you want to try and be one step ahead of the game, why not try something different? 3-4-3. Now, 3-4-3 technically doesn't really translate over here in England. Like, the only team that's ever been successful playing 3 or 5 at the back was Chelsea under... which one was it? Which manager was it? Conte. Conte, of course it was. It was Chelsea under Conte. But that wasn't sustainable. So I understand it doesn't necessarily work, but then again, was that given enough time? Were others given time or the resources to make it work? Not necessarily. So trying something different sometimes is not always the best. The problem that you've got is, like you say, you have square pegs in round holes. You've got players that don't want to play in those positions, that can't play in those positions. Bruno Fernandes in a deeper role doesn't work. Amad Diallo being used anywhere else other than as a right winger doesn't work. Just because you have the players doesn't mean you can shoehorn them in at any given point, at any place on that pitch. It just doesn't work for me. You also guarantee that they will get equal playing time. The players have to be happy at all times. We are in an era of player power, and that's a fact. You can't isolate the whole team. I mean, player power may be stronger, but player power has always been there. It's always been there. And look, the equal playing time thing, again, you either need to be clear with how you're going to use these players, clear with the kind of requirements and targets that players need to be hitting in training or something like that, and or on the pitch on when they are given the opportunity to perform. Otherwise, they'll be dropped from the team. And if another player in their position is playing very, very well, you just got to say to them, like, can't take him out. He's playing too well. You've got to just wait for him to hit a bad patch of form and make sure you are there to capitalize when he does. Simple as that. I think a transfer ban for 2 windows plus a fine is appropriate. Dock points is too severe. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say that maybe next season, for example, Chelsea are banned from making signings in the summer and in the winter, and then for that whole year, that might be what they go for. Actually, I don't know whether it might be too severe on Chelsea. I don't know. I think it sounds pretty fair to me, but. Yeah, like I say, the element of it being 2 different ownerships and obviously one grassing on the other it's a very strange and very uncommon case. So that's what makes it weird. And as with add-ons, exactly, that's why Amorim has to go. Why wasn't he banging his fist in the table for a midfielder? Bruno is a 10 to play in his system. It's not always down to the manager, though. Not always down to the manager. I don't know how much say Amorim has at the club when it comes to signings. But yeah, like I say, I think United's priorities this season have been somewhat backwards. I can understand why in certain cases, like I said, with Cunha and Mbuemo. I understand that. But in terms of, only getting a goalkeeper like the last minute, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something not quite right with that. Amorim will get sacked after the Chelsea loss. See, he could go at any moment. This is the thing. He could go at any moment. And alternatively, he could also stay until the end of the season, at least. This is the thing. I don't know where you go, and I don't even think your club knows where you go with him, to be honest. I really, really don't think they've got a plan right now. I think they've just got a plan of just winging it and see what happens. If you turn your fortunes around, great. If you continue down this nosedive, then you may have to pull the trigger by Christmas. Liverpool's title win wasn't that great. City was cooked. I mean, it was great for me. And we were dominant and we were consistent. So I'd say it was great. I said you're the biggest club in the UK now. I actually want Klopp in. Let's throw millions at him. Klopp would never go to United. You could offer him all the money in the world. Klopp would not go to United. Klopp would definitely not go to United. Who would you rather have, Nick Voltemeda or Sesko? I mean, probably Voltemeda, to be honest. We shall see, though. We shall see. I can understand that as well. Belieber, yeah. Thoughts on Julian Alvarez missing for Atleti? It's a big loss. I say I'd rather him play and give a big test to the likes of Konate and Van Dijk. But yeah, it's obviously a big boost for Liverpool, but at the same time, it is what it is. Klopp would never Klopp absolutely would never go to United. Would never go to United. Only abroad. Yeah, I think he would. He would. Take care, bro. Lovely to have you here, and appreciate the comment. Apparently, this will be the first game he'll miss through injury since City. Yeah, it's it's big. It's a big streak he was on, and I can just imagine rival fans are. Last season when Arsenal fans put together that sort of compilation of big players that missed games against Liverpool. Yeah, I can imagine there's someone out there right now that's angry that Alvarez is missing the Liverpool game. This is going already like, oh my God, Liverpool get lucky again. Alvarez is missing the Liverpool. Shut up, mate. Shut up. Strange people. Strange people indeed. Anyway, we've got to get through these talking points. Like I say, Amorim sacked at United soon. It's got massive potential. Will it actually happen? I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, I could see him staying till Christmas. I could see him staying till the end of the season. And I can also see him getting sacked tomorrow. That is just the unpredictability of Manchester United right now. They have a plan. They have a... They have an idea of the destination of where they want to go, but they don't know the stages to get there. That is the problem. That is the problem that they have. They don't know the stages. They just know the final destination. And it's a problem. They've got their priorities backwards. They are seemingly on the verge of tearing everything that they've tried to build in this past year down to go in a different direction. Would you say that they're going to get a manager in that is going to be similar to Amorim, but maybe a bit more flexible and a bit more adaptable? No, they will go with someone who's completely different style of play, different philosophy, someone who can maybe get them results. But how long will that last before it goes unstable again? Which is why I keep bringing up potentially Gareth Southgate. Great. Bring in Southgate. Results will improve for a few months. After those few months are up, when people start to realise how they play, once the blueprint is drawn up for how to beat United, boom, goes straight out the window. Done. Dusted. That manager's gone. Right, bring in the next one. And they keep bringing in these managers, and it's not going to change because the system's the same, the infrastructure's the same, everything is the same. The club is rotten to the core. The club is poisonous, and everything this club touches turns to absolute crap. It really does. It really does. You should go live in the evenings also. I work most evenings, so it's kind of difficult. I understand, like you say here, I understand that I understand that people work around about this time, so I know it's kind of difficult. But yeah, I'll see. Most evenings I do work, and most evenings I try and spend with family and stuff. So, try and get some free time here and there, but it's not always planned out that way. You should do watch-alongs. You would do a good job. You should be doing one game today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Again, I'm working all the evenings this week, so it's kind of difficult. I would love to do some more watch-alongs. I would love to do some more watch-alongs if and when I get the time. So they can be a bit sporadic. But at the same time, like I say, they're going to be a bit sporadic for at least the foreseeable future. But hopefully, somewhere down the line, I can get some consistency, maybe get some evenings free, and then I can do this kind of thing more often. We shall see. We shall see how it goes. Have you got TNT or Sky Sports? I have both. I am very fortunate to have both. Cost me an arm and a leg, but it is what it is. To United fans, would you take Areola or Glasner? Again, I'm not a United fan, but I will say that I personally, from the outside looking in, don't think it matters. I think either one of those managers comes in, they may hit the ground running, they may get a tune out of some of these players, but ultimately, it's not going to last long. It's not going to last long. I'm thinking about getting TNT or Sky Sports. What's better? Depends. It depends what you are looking for. Sky Sports obviously mainly does Premier League, but they'll also throw some Championship in there, and I think they've got the Carabao Cup games as well this year. So they will have those kind of games on, like I say, Championship as well, some League One, some League Two from time to time. They also do Scottish Premier League as well. So if you're interested in that, TNT will obviously have the Champions League. TNT, for the most part, will have at least one game a weekend in the Premier League, at least one. But they also do like Serie A from time to time. I think they've also got maybe some. They might have some. Is it French league they may have, or Italian? So they do some Serie A. Might be some La Liga as well. I'm not 100% sure, but they'll have some other leagues as well from around the world. It depends. I just have both to try and watch as much of the Premier League as I can, and like I say, I will occasionally watch other games from around the world as well. It's okay. At least you go live. I like you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's always great to have you here, and always great to chat with you. So I appreciate everybody that arrives, even if it's for like a few minutes, and you just drop in to say hi. I do appreciate it. So thank you all so much for being here. Even this, me and Liverpool are new enemies. Even though me and Liverpool are now enemies. I get it. I mean, you can force the rivalry all you want, bro. You can force that rivalry all you want. It's not a genuine rivalry. I'm just saying. It's not a genuine rivalry. How much for Sky Sports and TNT? I cannot remember off the top of my head. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's not as cheap as what it used to be. Not as cheap as what it used to be. But I'm sure you can find a deal. I'm sure you can find a deal that would suit you. Or you could just maybe, I was going to say, just use a Fire Stick. But you didn't hear that from me. No, I'm joking, of course. Maybe a VPN or something. Something along them lines. Especially for the 3 o'clock games. VPNs are very good for 3 o'clock games, which they don't have because for whatever reason, you can go to any other country around the world and watch the 3 o'clock games on a Saturday from this country, but you can't do it in the actual country of its origin. Make that make sense. Germany, you can go to Germany and you can watch the Bundesliga every Saturday, every game. Over here in England, oh no, can't watch the 3 o'clock games unless you go to the stadiums. Well, not everybody can go to the stadiums. Not everybody can pay the money to go to the stadium every week. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. You think either Areola or Glasner still won't wake up United down? the club's rotten to the core, bro. The club is rotten to the core, and until the ownership is sorted completely, until the ownership manages to basically burn everything down and rebuild it, a new manager's not going to sort the problem. A new manager's not going to sort the problem. How do you know? Well, they got rid of... When Sir Alex left, they brought in David Moyes. That didn't work, so they brought in Louis van Gaal. He enjoyed FA Cup success, but nothing sustainable, and the football was dead boring. So they went and got Jose Mourinho because, you know, you go from dead boring football to Mourinho ball, and all of a sudden that's apparently an upgrade on excitement levels. He enjoyed some success in the form of the Europa League, the Carabao Cup. If he wants to include the Community Shield, I'm not going to argue with the special one. But again, no fan was really happy. And it was also a ticking time bomb. It was also a ticking time bomb with Mourinho. So they got rid of Mourinho. Then, of course, they went with Solskjaer. And that was fine for a while. He got them to second place. But the football eventually got very predictable. There was a blueprint that was set up to beat United that everybody was then using. They failed to adapt. They failed to change. And they messed up because they bought the wrong players. Buying Ronaldo when they needed a DM once again displays the backwards priorities that United were going through at the time. They decided to go back in time rather than forward. And then they bring in Erik ten Hag, who, again, enjoyed some success with the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. But by that second season, you could see that things were on the decline. Things were not going well. The football was not getting any better. The results were not there. And if they were there, it was down to mistakes or moments of individual brilliance that would only shine very sporadically. There was nothing consistent about any of those managers. So why would a new manager come in and manage to find some consistency out of thin air? I think it's because the club is rotten to the core as to why a manager can't find consistency. Again, if we are to use another case study, look at Liverpool. The way that Slot took over from Klopp and the consistency maintained was because the club is ran not perfectly. Nothing's ever run perfectly, but the club is ran extremely well. Club not run well, falters, stutters, like United. Club run very, very well, continues to find success, continues to be consistent like a Liverpool. That's just the way I see it from the outside looking in. Of course, maybe you have different opinions. Maybe you got different feelings on that. Would be interesting. Yeah, it's not a genuine rivalry. It's all fun. Sunderland, real rivalry. Who's your rivalry? United on a competitive and obviously historical level. Everton on a geographical level. Chelsea, because I grew up in the sort of Mourinho Benitez era, which was always fun. Man City in recent times. Real Madrid on obviously a Champions League European level. I'd say that they're our main rivals. Big up Jordan, hope you're doing well, my bro. Solid, get a ticket. What station is Barca Newcastle? Do you know? Ooh, that might be TNT. That might be TNT, because you also get like 4 channels with TNT. I think you got like TNT 1, TNT 2, TNT 3, and 4. So I think it might be on one of them channels. Although Amazon Prime have also got Champions League. I don't know though if I don't know what games are going to be on Amazon though. That's the only thing I've got. Like, I don't know. I think Tottenham might be on tonight on Amazon actually. I think Tottenham might be, but they may have more this week. So look out for Amazon Prime as well. Amazon might have a Champions League game or two here and there. Fletch, do you think Arsenal are our rivals realistically? Every gooner on social media seems to think we're rivals. I mean, over the past this year and last year, I'd say we are technically rivals because obviously we're to pardon the pun, gunning for the same thing. We are competitive in that aspect. But I don't think we're rivals. I don't think we're rivals in the same way that, you know, it's not geographical like Everton, of course. It's not really competitive in terms of Man City with the history there. It's definitely not competitive with the history of Man United. It's not competitive with the hatred between Benitez and Mourinho. It's not really there. I don't think the rivalry is really there. I think it could develop into something more long term. I think it could, but there's gonna need to be a level of consistency from both clubs that they will compete against each other for major honours for the next several years, and then a rivalry will develop. At the moment, there's no rivalry. I don't think there's a rivalry there. Some Arsenal fans even consider Spurs to not be a rival, which is weird. They are rivals. They are. Barca Newcastle TNT, I just chat. Fair enough. Good to know for me for later on down the line where I'll be scrambling to find a channel and I won't know which one to look at. Right. We talked lucky Liverpool. We talked Amorim out. Chelsea robbed at the weekend. Did anyone see the Chelsea draw 2-2 with Brentford? The second Brentford goal, the equaliser, 93rd, 94th minute. Fabio Carvalho loves an injury time winner. Sorry to bring that up, related gamer, but he does. Yeah. Was that offside? Was that a mistake from the referee, the VAR? I didn't see it at first. I did not see it at first. I thought it was a perfectly legit goal. I thought Chelsea have flopped from another set piece. They were not dealing with those set pieces, those kind of moments all game. And at the end, it came back to cost them. But at the same time, I didn't see the potential offside. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that, well, Chelsea kind of have had this coming for a long time because, you know, the free kick on the opening day of their season against Palace should have probably stood. There was a moment in the West Ham game that escapes me, but I think there was another bit of controversy there. The Fulham goal, which they definitely made a mistake on, the referee, the VAR and the PGMOL, to the point where they apologised to Fulham for disallowing their goal. All of that stuff obviously culminated to this. I'm not going to sit here and say that eventually they had it coming because I know that, you know, things balance themselves out over time and things like that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say that, well, they deserve to have some bad luck against them because they've had so much good luck go for them. What I am going to say, though, is that Chelsea were robbed. It looked like it was offside to me. And therefore, he does make a play for the ball, which, of course, does impact the defender's move. I think they got robbed a little bit there. I'll call it out as what it is. I think they got robbed a little bit. And again, it's another poor referee and VAR mistake. And we've seen a number of them. We're only in game week 4 of the Premier League season. And I can probably tell you at least 8 moments, probably 8 moments in which the VAR and the referees have got wrong. I can probably tell you 8 moments in which the PGMOL have embarrassed themselves yet again. The handball for Liverpool-Bournemouth, the free kick for Chelsea-Palace, potentially the foul on the Man United player in the Arsenal-Man United game that could have resulted in a penalty. The foul on McAllister in the first half of Liverpool-Burnley. This incident that we're talking about here, and I probably need to go back and check them. I made something like a right pillock. Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I know there were like 3 or 4 more that I'm just mine's drawing a blank. But the PGMOL once again embarrassed themselves. And again, Chelsea can maybe feel hard done by in this situation that they weren't taking 3 points home with them rather than just the 1. But I don't think it's the be-all and end-all of why Chelsea dropped points. Like, Chelsea weren't great in that game, but at the same time, they were leading 2-1. They managed to find a way to be leading by 2-1. Fortunate, somewhat. Unfortunate, definitely. Like I say, it was a mad game, crazy game, and I think Chelsea were robbed. I think that's the bottom line of it. I think Chelsea was somewhat robbed by the referee in this situation. Fabio Shades of Newcastle at Anfield. What a game that was. What a game that was. Just pops up at the right place at the right time. Absolutely. I mean, I was hoping for more from him from his time at Brentford. Hopefully this will be the moment which he kicks on. Hopefully that will be the case, but we shall see. Garnacho was just poor defensively. Agreed. Look, it was big part of the Chelsea goal, though. Big part of the Chelsea goal going forward. But yeah, defensively, we all know that he's a bit of a liability. Are you ready for tomorrow? Absolutely, my guy. Absolutely, I'm ready for tomorrow. Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. Of course I'm ready, bruv. Of course. Can't wait. Can't wait for the Champions League to kick off. Can't wait for our campaign to kick off. You know, we now know what we're in for when it comes to the league phase. So, you know, who cares with topping the group? Who cares with topping the league? As long as we get through, it's going to be interesting to see how we manage that this year. You know, topping the league phase and then arguably getting the hardest round of 16 game that we could possibly have gotten. It's going to be interesting to see how we balance it this year. Do you think teams will be a bit more strategic this year? Now that we know how the kind of competition and knockout stages work, do you reckon teams will be a bit more strategic this year in terms of like, oh, well, if we win this game, we're probably going to get one of these 4 teams. But if we lose it, we could get these 4 teams, which might be better for us in the long run. I wonder if teams will be a bit more strategic in their approach this year. Fletcher, I'm not concerned about the result against Atletico because it's just match day 1. Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be 7 more games to go, so it's not the end of the world, no matter what happens against Atletico. I'm hoping for just a better performance, though. I'm hoping for a better performance, an improvement on what we've seen so far this season, and maybe even Alexander Isak makes an appearance, which will be great. Big odds, Jordan. Absolutely love that from you, my guy. Fair play to you, man. Appreciate that. I want 3 points against the Blue Noses. Blue Noses. I just checked Sky Sports is 22 and TNT 31 or for both or for 40 quid for the bundle. I might get it, but 24 months contract. If you're going to use it, then it's going to be worth it. If you're going to use it consistently and constantly, if you're going to use it to the point where you're watching it every week, you're watching Champions League as well, so you're watching it at least 2 times a week. You may even fancy watching the odd Serie A game or something, Championship game, Carabao Cup, whatever's on. Yeah, man. Like I say, it might be worth it at least for 2 years, at least the next 2 years, and then who knows? By 2 years' time, everything could be just thrown onto Netflix or something. Who knows? Netflix need to hurry up and buy it. By the way, I reckon it'd be a lot better on some sort of streaming service than it would on Sky. Netflix buy it and then ban Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher from going. Who's 3 favourites for Champions League? I think PSG, Madrid, Chelsea. PSG, Liverpool, and I think it's tied between Chelsea, Barcelona, and Arsenal. And the only reason why I say Arsenal is because they could very well cheese it again. I don't think they will win it, but I could see them like cheesing it. I don't think they'll win it. But I can see why certain people might make them favourites. I can see why they would. But I think PSG, Liverpool, Chelsea, Barcelona. Absolutely. With Netflix, ban them. Arsenal, no. I hope they never win the Champions League. Same. It'll be funny if they didn't. Or what would be even more funnier is if someone like Tottenham won it before they did. That would be funny. I'd rate that, by the way. If Tottenham won it before they did, that would be funny as hell. It says Real Madrid and PSG. I'm not convinced by Madrid. I need to be convinced more by Real Madrid. I know it's Xabi. I know that obviously he's got a good squad building up over there, but I'm not convinced by Real Madrid right now. I know you can never rule them out because it's Real Madrid and it's Champions League heritage and all of that stuff. I'm just not entirely convinced by Madrid as of right now. Barca have defensive problems. They can score goals, but they're weak defensively. I mean, that was their problem last season. And the only way they got about that Inter game was because Inter were just clinical. Inter were just clinical across both legs. Like Barca realistically should have won, but Inter were just very, very clinical. And Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, really, because Inter didn't put up much of a fight in the final, which was annoying. But yeah, there we have it. Anyway, final talking point. Is this Arsenal's year? Is this Arsenal's year for Premier League or Champions League? In my opinion, the answer is no. Look, I see a lot of Arsenal fans gassing up the performance and the victory against Nottingham Forest on Saturday, and at the same time, they were calling out Liverpool's poor performance against Burnley. Yeah, Liverpool weren't great, but once again, I feel like if the mentality is going to be let's look at everybody else rather than our own clubs, once again, Arsenal will fail. And as far as what they're concerned against Forest, look, Forest barely laid a glove on them, partly down to how good Arsenal were. I'm not taking anything away from the performance or anything like that of Arsenal. They were very, very good. But at the same time, it is against a side that I don't particularly rate right now in Forest. Like, did very well last year, fell off towards the end of last season, had a lot of change this past summer in terms of new players, in terms of obviously now a new head coach, a head coach that lost 22 games in the Premier League last season. So I don't know how much you can really put on that performance. Yes, Arsenal deserved it. Yes, Arsenal got the job done. That's all you can do sometimes. But I still need to be convinced in the tougher games of this league. I still need to be convinced that they can go and face Fulham and beat Fulham because they've struggled against them in the past couple of years. I need to be convinced that they can go against Everton and actually win that game. I need to be convinced that they can go to Manchester City on a Sunday, win that game as well, which they're probably favourites to. And of course, they beat them last year. But at the same time, that's when the pressure really tells. Can this team, again, battle the pressure? They've proven so far they can't. They need to change that. They certainly need to change that. Because the only pressure game so far this season was against Liverpool, and they crumbled. They didn't throw enough bodies forward. They didn't take enough risks. They lost the game. And even against Man United on the opening day of the season, they were lucky to get out of that. If United had a more competent goalkeeper, United take a point from that game at the very least. At the very least, United take a point from that game if they had a competent goalkeeper. So I'm not entirely convinced by Arsenal again. I think they're good at what they do. They've got a good level of consistency, but ultimately, I ain't convinced. I ain't buying into it completely. I think the performances of Madueke has been overhyped a little bit. Everyone was gassing him up for his performance against Liverpool. He wasn't that great against Liverpool. He beat Kirkes for pace, but then had nothing to show for it at the end. They were only gassing him up because the rest of the attackers were shockingly bad. And he's looked lively, but a lot of players look lively without having much of an end product. I know he got 2 assists on Sunday, but Jeremy Doku is another one of those players. Looks good on the eye. Looks lively. Looks like he will try and do something. But ultimately, his end product just isn't there. Madueke is similar. Madueke is another one whose end product isn't there. Everything else building up to that end product, very, very good. But when it comes to executing the final product, not good. It's just not great. It's just not great at all. And yeah, that's just the way I see Arsenal right now. Like I say, I await the tougher games. I await 2 games a week. I await to see the injuries that may occur this season. But what I am liking right now is the way that Arsenal fans are gassing themselves up. They're putting Liverpool down again. And a big part of the Arsenal fan base are talking about their depth. Their depth. Saying how good their depth is. Saying that they've got 2 players at least for every position. So there's no excuses this year. There's no excuses this year. No PGMOL this. No injuries that. This year is fully down to those players and Mikel Arteta. That is what I'm liking now. Arsenal fans have been backed into a corner here. And if they don't do something this season, kaput. Done. Dusted. Arteta falls again. That's what I'm predicting. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. But we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, time to wrap it up, guys. Thank you, each and every single one of you, for being here. Make sure to smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Hit the comment section on the replay of this video on anything that we talked about in this video or anything that you guys want to talk about for future videos or future live streams to come. Enjoy the Champions League this week. Enjoy the other European competitions as well. And, of course, enjoy everything else of club football related, whether it be the Premier League at the weekend or whatever. Really appreciate each and every single one of you being here. When am I back? Right. So my plan is that I might go live tomorrow. Might talk about some of the Champions League games that happen tonight. Might talk about some of the Champions League games for tomorrow and maybe for the next couple of days. But yeah, my back live tomorrow. Premier League predictions video will either be out Wednesday or Thursday, likely to be Thursday. But Premier League predictions video will be out then, and then we'll see about Friday. But yeah, thank you to each and every single one of you being here. Sup, Marco? Sorry, bro, we're about to exit right now. Stage left, but big up and thank you for being here, my bro. Really do appreciate it. Love the stream. Thank you for that, my bro. Really do appreciate the comment there. Love talking to you as well. And Hannibal knew straight away. Yeah, he knew. Head in his hands, that kind of thing. He knew. Big up Marco. Great stream. Up the Reds. Absolutely. Big up the Reds and up the Reds indeed. And you got Sky Sports and TNT. Fair play, my man. Fair play. The commentary isn't great. The punditry is not much better. Well, the punditry is actually poorer than the commentary. But yeah, just watch it on mute. Just watch it on mute. Put a live stream on in the background of a watch along from someone that you actually like and respect. And yeah, just have the game on mute. It would be so much better for you. I guarantee it. Anyway, big up to everybody that's here. Big up to everybody that's it. Hit the like button, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream. Thank you all once again, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.